Did you know that the anus has more nerve endings than any other part of the human body? An interesting yet intriguing fact about our bodies, a detail that many of us may not be aware of, and might even find surprising to discover. Though it may be a part of the body that is not often discussed in polite company, it plays a significant role in the realm of human pleasure. And why is it so? It is solely due to the fact that this area has more nerve endings than any other part present in the human body. That's right, we're talking about more nerve endings than the lips, the fingertips, or even the tongue. Imagine that, a part of your body that you might not think of as being particularly sensitive is in fact one of the most sensory-rich areas of the body. An array of nerve endings, densely packed, ready to provide a plethora of unique sensations, unlike any others you might have experienced before. In this context, let's talk about a subject that's often considered taboo: anal sex. This topic might make some people uncomfortable, but it's essential to have open and honest conversations about sexuality and pleasure. Anal sex, a topic that a spectrum of reactions, from fascination to fear, from curiosity to caution, has long been misunderstood and stigmatized. However, when approached with knowledge, care, and explicit consent, anal sex can be a source of immense pleasure for many people, regardless of their gender or sexual orientation. Contrary to popular belief and misconceptions that have been perpetuated over the years, anal sex is not about pain or discomfort. Quite the opposite, in fact. It's about exploring new territories of intimacy, discovering unknown sensations, and redefining the boundaries of pleasure. Anal sex requires understanding, patience, and preparation. It's an activity that should never be rushed and should always be accompanied by clear communication between partners. And like any other sexual activity, it should always be a consensual act, built on a foundation and respect. Often people are deterred from exploring anal sex because of misconceptions and myths surrounding pain and discomfort. However, with the right approach and preparation, anal sex can be a pleasurable experience. Remember, the anus is a muscle, and like any other muscle in your body, it can be trained and conditioned for different types of stimulation. This opens up a whole new realm of possibilities for pleasure and intimacy. But always remember, irrespective of how many nerve endings this part of the body may have, the most critical aspect of sexual activity is always consent. Without it, no amount of physical pleasure can compensate for the violation of one's personal boundaries. So if you thought anal sex was all about pain, think again. It's time to debunk some myths. The human body is a vast and intricate landscape, awaiting exploration and discovery. Who knows what uncharted territories of pleasure you might find when you venture beyond norms of sexuality? After all, it is these discoveries that make us human, pushing us beyond the boundaries of our comfort zones towards experiences that are unique, enriching, and ultimately liberating. There's a lot of misinformation out there about anal sex. Let's set the record straight. To begin, let's address one of the most common misconceptions, that anal sex is an act exclusively for homosexual men. This couldn't be further from the truth. Anal sex, just like other sexual act, isn't confined to any specific demographic. It's a form of intimacy that can be enjoyed by anyone, regardless of gender, sexual orientation, or relationship status. To put it plainly, there's no rule that stipulates who can and cannot enjoy anal sex. It's an act that's open to all, as long as it's consensual and approached with a certain amount of curiosity. It's important to consider that sexuality is not a one-size-fits-all concept. It's a personal exploration, an intimate journey that varies greatly from person to person. And part of that journey is understanding that pleasure can be derived from various forms of sexual activities, anal sex being just one option. So, whether you're single or in a committed relationship, gay, straight, or bisexual, anal sex is something that can add to your sexual experiences. Now let's move on to another common myth: the idea that anal sex is always a painful experience. Once again, this belief is far from accurate. Pain is not a necessary or inherent aspect of anal sex. Yes, it may feel different and perhaps even unfamiliar, but that doesn't mean it should be painful. Sexual experiences should be about pleasure and intimacy, not discomfort or pain. True, anal sex might require more preparation than other forms of sex, but this doesn't mean it has to be a painful ordeal that one simply endures. The key to a positive experience lies in three important elements: communication, consent, and preparation. These elements can make the difference between discomfort and pleasure. It's important for both partners to communicate openly and honestly, to give and receive unequivocal consent, and to prepare adequately for the act. Preparation may include relaxation techniques, ample use of lubricant, and a slow, gradual progression, which can help ensure that the experience is comfortable and enjoyable for everyone involved. It's worth noting that the act of preparation can also serve to enhance intimacy and build trust between partners. It's not just about making the physical act more comfortable, but also about creating an emotional environment where both partners feel safe and respected. And now, we come to another common misconception: the notion that anal sex is inherently dirty or unhealthy. The reality is quite the opposite. With proper hygiene and safe sex practices, anal sex is not any dirtier or unhealthier than other forms of sexual activity. However, it's crucial to remember that, like all sexual activities, anal sex does carry a certain risk of infection or disease. For this reason, using protection, getting regular health checkups, and maintaining good personal hygiene are absolutely essential. These practices can help reduce the risk of health problems and ensure a safe and pleasurable experience for both partners. In conclusion, it's important to understand that the preconceived notions and fears surrounding anal sex are predominantly based on myths and misconceptions. A lot of these fears stem from a lack of understanding and knowledge. Therefore, it's crucial to debunk these myths and shed light on the truth anal sex. This way, we can help people make informed decisions about their sexual activities, ensuring they can explore their sexuality in a safe, comfortable, and pleasurable manner. So, as you can see, many of the fears around anal sex are based on myths and misconceptions. Now that we've debunked some myths, let's talk about how to have safe and enjoyable anal sex. It's crucial to remember the 3 C's: comfort, communication, and condoms. These 3 principles are at the heart of any sexual endeavor, but they are particularly important when exploring new territories of pleasure such as anal sex. Comfort is a vital component of a pleasurable sexual experience, and this is especially true in the context of anal sex. Unlike other parts of the body, the anus doesn't self-lubricate, which can cause discomfort or potential injury if not adequately prepared for. Therefore, generous application of lubrication is key. You can experiment with different types of lubes, each of which has different properties. Water-based lubes, for instance, are easy to clean and are compatible with all types of condoms. However, they tend to dry out faster and might need reapplication. Silicone-based lubes, on the other hand, last longer and are great for water play, but they can deteriorate certain types of toys and condoms. Next, we move to the pivotal aspect of communication. It's important to have open and honest discussions with your partner about boundaries, desires, and concerns. Remember, this is an exploration after all, and it's best done at a pace that suits both of you. Don't be shy about expressing what feels good and what doesn't. Always remember, sex is a shared experience, and each partner's comfort, safety, and pleasure are equally important. Finally, we come to condoms. They're not just for pregnancy prevention. Condoms are an essential tool in preventing the spread of sexually transmitted infections, making your playtime safer and more hygienic. They come in all shapes, sizes, and materials, each with its own set of pros, and therefore it's important to find one that suits both you and your partner's preferences. A bonus tip: get to know your own body. This isn't just about pleasing your partner, it's about your pleasure too. Spend some time alone to explore what feels good for you. Use your hands, use toys, experiment with different positions. The better you know your body and understand your own sexual response, the more satisfying your sexual experiences will be. Moreover, it's also essential to educate yourself about potential risks and how to mitigate them. Read up on the subject, consult with a healthcare provider if necessary. The more informed you are, the better equipped you'll be to have a safe and enjoyable experience. And let's not forget the importance of aftercare. This includes cleaning up, checking in with your partner, and taking care of any discomfort or after effects. Aftercare is a crucial part of ensuring that the experience was not just pleasurable, but also safe and respectful. Lastly, enjoy the journey. Sex, in all its forms, is meant to be enjoyable, exciting, and fulfilling. It's not a race or a performance. It's an intimate, shared experience that should bring pleasure and deepen connection. So, relax, take your time, and savor every moment. Remember, the key to a great sexual experience is communication, consent, and care. Don't be afraid to explore, and most importantly, enjoy the journey.